Looks like it is going to be Last himself coming out to face Jaedong. And I'm not gonna lie, I think the edge goes really heavily toward Last in this. So, bottom left-hand corner in the red, that is going to be Jaedong. It's our Zerg player, our Zerg hero, who is finally bringing Team Bisu back into the game. In the top right, it is the yellow Protoss, or sorry, yellow Terran. Oh god, it's early. The yellow Terran, it's going to be Last. Last is definitely favored in this matchup. Last, one of the TVZ beasts. And right now, Jaedong has been struggling in ZVT for a while. I think he's improved significantly since the ASL3 rather. And so there's still a good chance that Jaedong can pull it back, but Les is just such a strong TVZ player. Aside from Flash, he's the best TVZ player in the world right now. So it's pretty unlikely, I think, that Jaedong comes out on top. But you never know. Jaedong, if he's having a good day, he can basically beat anyone. It all depends on how good his preparation is, and if he's on a good day, if his APM is spent correctly. So, looking forward to seeing this. I love Salamander. This is such a cool map, man. I don't honestly know if it's favored for any particular race, but I love the tile set, and I think it looks cool, man. It just looks cool. So we are going to be having the hatch first. Not surprising at all. It's been a while since I've seen a not hatch first in ZVT. Like the only other one that people will go is like a 9 pool occasionally, but even then that's pretty rare, and that's usually only on like that's usually not even as an aggressive build, but as like an anti proxy Rax cheese build. So it's like pretty much always been hatch first. It's always gonna be hatch first driver. So Last is he's gonna scout Jaedong second. He sees the Overlord, so he knows immediately where Jaedong is gonna be. And Jaedong actually going for the triple hatch before pool, the third hatch in the faraway position. So pretty interesting play by Jaedong so far. This is very greedy, and can definitely be punished early on. It does really well against the CC first, but against last build where he went for the gasless fast expand, it's not going to be as strong, and there's definite chance that an early attack can just straight up kill it off. Jaedong is probably going to have to be going for the Zergling speed before lair, or else he can actually just lose that hatchery to like a handful, 6 or 7 Marines and just walk over there and kill that hatchery. We'll have to see what Last's plans are, though. He may decide to play it a little bit safer. I think there's definitely a window of opportunity here for Last to do some pretty serious damage to his opponent, though. Especially since he scouts it out, he knows what's going on. He knows there's the late pool, and so there's probably a third base somewhere on the map. So, pretty ballsy from Jaedong. I'm looking forward to seeing how this pans out. But so is that area where the Overlord is that unpathable terrain, or is that a ramp or something? That is like a super weird feature. I've never seen that. It looks like unpathable terrain, but it looks like you can actually load something on the high ground there. Unless it has unit blockers, not sure if it does. Anyhow, we see the double racks play coming out. This is what I expected. When you scout that your opponent is going triple hatch before pool, you go for the double racks opening. You have a lot more Marines early on, and it definitely opens up the possibility for going for just a Marine poke early on. And if you don't have any Zerglings, then you just die. And actually, I don't even think Last has to walk to the third base. He can actually just walk to the natural if he wanted, while sending a couple of Marines, even just like 1 or 2 to the third to pick off drones. So we'll have to see what goes on. There's the lair. It looks like he did actually go for the lair before Zergling speed, which is, again, a little bit ballsy, a little bit maybe foolish. We'll have to see. So the first Marine poke is going to be coming across the map now with, I believe it was 7 or 8 Marines. But Last is kind of in the dark. He doesn't want to... He wants to make sure there isn't a Zergling run by, so he's actually just going to move his units back. He's just going to wait for his medics in order to go. Which, to me, is a little bit confusing. I would have liked to see him poke out a little bit further, but maybe that one little poke was enough to force out enough lings early on. Either way, this is about the time that you want to be banking speedlings, so it's not really all that strong anyhow. Jaedong's a little bit lucky that they got in cross positions. I think if they had been in close positions, Jaedong would be in a lot of trouble right now, but because they're in these cross positions, going for an early push with those Marines, not quite as effective as it would normally be. Scan comes in, he's going to know where this base is and start moving across right now. Jaedong's just going to continually try to threaten the run-bys here. And so far it's going pretty well. Even with that bunker in place, he's going to be able to pick off these firebats. The firebats weren't on the ramp. Normally you do this push out, you put the 2 firebats on the ramp and then the lings can't get up, but so far so good from Jaedong. He's going to be able to get a lot of damage done here and slow down the army, but it doesn't even matter because there's so much coming up to this third base right now, and this third base is definitely going down. You see Jaedong's already evacuating the drones. He's going to see if he can try to sneak them out, but probably not. At the very least, he's going to buy some time running the drones around. Just kind of save that for a little bit longer. But this is going to be the third base going down, and that's pretty painful for Jaedong. With the third base going down right now, and you know, that's a third of his production right there. He's building those 3 Mulos there, and he's going to have to cancel those because those Mulos are going to die instantly. Is he not going to cancel those? Is he actually just going to try to fly them out? What? Okay. Well, one of the Mulos dies, 2 of them get badly bruised. And even though he does have another follow-up counterattack coming into the natural there, a lot of damage done to Jaedong right now. He's going to have to get a lot done with these Mulos if he wants to claw his way back into the game. And this is just not looking very good for Jaedong right now. He's going to have to pick off at least this army out in the middle of that, maybe the next army as well. Luckily, this isn't a 5 racks, so there's not going to be an insane number of Marine medic out. But either way, this is pretty painful. It loses another Mutalisk there. You can't afford to be losing any Mutalisk at this point. Going to continue to micro, and Last is just on top of just paying attention to his bio and making sure they don't just die pointlessly. Really good job with the stems there and being in good positions. It's going to take forever to clean up, but eventually Jaedong is going to be able to clean this up. He's got 2, 3 that are really low. 2 other Mutalisks go down. That's so painful. Oh my gosh, 2 more Mutalisks go down, and at this point, Last is he's playing super turtly, but it's okay because as long as he doesn't take damage from these Mutalisks, he's going to be in a great position. There's a lot of missile turrets, but basically all he needs to do is just continue pumping that Marine medic, get up these 2 starports that he's going, and just go straight into the SK Terran. It's a little weird to go into SK Terran with only 3 racks, but it looks like maybe he might be going into an earlier mech play immediately afterwards. Not fully dedicating to the bio early on, just enough to get 2 to 3 subgroups, and then he's going to be switching into the mech. This is pretty all in from Jaedong. It looks like he's pulling back his... He's going back to the 2007 days where you just try to Mutalist harass your way into a win, but there's pretty much nothing he can do at this point. He doesn't have a third base still, and he's just relying on really good Mutalist micro to do tons of damage, but there's so many missile turrets here, so many Marines and medics. He's going to have to kill off every single SCV in this base, but there's so many missile turrets. Every time he goes in there, he takes at least 4 shots. And that's just, it's pretty brutal. And the army for Last is moving across the map right now. And actually, I think they're going to snipe a couple of these Zerglings over here, which is a bit unfortunate. And only a couple of these Sunkens, no lurkers out yet. Still going for the hive right now. And Jaedong literally is just going to have to play the best game of his entire life if he wants to win this game. But I don't think it's going to happen. He has to delay this Terran army for practically forever if he actually wants to survive. But even then, the first two science vessels are coming out right now, and Defiler Tech hasn't even been started. So this is really, really, really bad for Jaedong. This is pretty much a loss. I haven't looked at the supply differences. Supplies might be more or less pretty even right now, but they're going to change drastically in the next couple of minutes. And flying the Mutalisk into the Marine is not what you want to do. Takes a lot of damage on those Mutalisks, loses all of those wings. It's not looking good for Jaedong. He's trying to get these Hydras up on a high ground so he can defend his bases with lurkers. But the first, I mean, he's already the first two science vessels are already out, and these Marines will actually be able to break this wall before the lurkers finish morphing. It takes Marines forever to actually kill lurker eggs, but definitely possible. And again, flying Mutalisk over Marines, losing another Mutalisk, it's brutal. At this point, I think Jaedong's tilted. He's not quite playing his best, and this is what we always see. Oh, that was really nice play so far. But he didn't get both of the vessels. If he got both the vessels, he would be 100% safe here. But losing that one lurker to the irradiate is going to be pretty brutal. It's going to be really rough. And good Mutalisk Micro can actually hold this off. In the games that I casted yesterday, I believe it was Larva versus Flash. Larva managed to hold his ramp with just Mutalisk and one lurker for a long time. But still, it's a very difficult position for Jaedong right now. A really good job so far of just picking off a couple of units, but here come the next set of irradiates, and he's going to try to clean this up with Lings, but the next army should be on its way pretty soon. He needs to kill off as many of these medics as possible, because once the medic count builds up, it becomes so much harder to deal with this. Third base going down for last, and Jaedong looks like he has established his third base for now. He's going to survive and be able to stay in the game. The first Defiler is out. I'm not sure if Consume is actually finished yet, but either way, it is going to deter an attack coming out pretty soon. And looks like Last did actually commit to those second couple of barracks. He is going to be going pretty heavy into the bio for the next couple of minutes. But I think we're probably going to see the mech switch come out once he gets 2 or 3 subgroups and has a really good job, really good handle on this expansion over here. A lot of Scourge coming out, and with good micro, he could save these, but all of the science vessels go down. Wow, that's actually really, really impressive. As long as he can get a couple of lurkers down there, he can actually survive. And the fourth base actually being picked off by a couple Lings. What is Jaedong doing this? Is he actually doing this? This is impressive play by Jaedong coming back from a game that he had pretty much lost. But the game's not over yet. He still has quite a lot to do, and here comes the mech switch already. And luckily for Jaedong, he's been able to slow down the progression of Terran across the map, but he still has no fourth. He's only just now establishing the area around his fourth. And oh wow. Just a whole bunch of vultures get into the space right now, and they're going to be able to snipe quite a few drones. Luckily, there are a few units in position. They're going to be able to deal with that. Looks like actually only 2 drones went down. I feel like a lot more than that could have gone down with good micro, but either way, really solid win. Like I said, Jaedong still doesn't have his fourth base. He has relatively few drones, so even though the game is kind of stabilized for right now as Last switching into this mech, Jaedong can't really do anything to stop this progression of bases across the map. And once the turn gets up to 5 or 6 bases, it's going to be impossible for Jaedong to actually do anything about it. And oh, Jaedong screwing up, not paying attention to his Lings and cutting off those vultures. Only 2 drones going down so far. Better vulture micro this time. They're going to be pretty good, but what are the Lings doing? Why are there more vultures in here? Jaedong, what's going on? Come on, Jaedong. Pay attention. Where are your lurkers? Do smart things. Come on. Come on, man. Immediately runs all of his Lings into a spider mine. Rip. And this is huge for Last right now. just not having those drones at his base, losing even more at his fourth base over here. It's pretty brutal right now, and Last is just tearing him apart. Jaedong did a really good job of taking the pressure off of his fourth, but now that he's taken so much damage, it doesn't even matter. He has no more advantages left. He's just scrambling. Maybe he can pick off a couple of science vessels down here, and he actually loses the fourth base. There's the GG. He knows it's lost now that he's lost that fourth. So a little bit unfortunate. He went for that triple hatch. It got scouted early on, and just annihilated.